Hey, welcome to this edition of Extreme Reloading, and as promised, we're shooting 3 9mm pistols using that Lehigh Defense Extreme Penetrator bullets. And the pistols I'll be using today will be, first of all, the FNX, secondly, the CZ75, and third, the Beretta M92 FS. Then what I'm going to do is whatever pistol shoots the Lehigh best, I'm going to take that pistol, I'm going to fire 5 more rounds using my favorite bullet, the Hornady Xtp. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to run a chronograph at this, firing at this bullseye right here at 15 yards. So let's see how it all plays out. All right, here we go. I'll shoot at the bullseye in the upper left. That one seemed to go to the right. We're clear. That's the FN. CZ75, bullseye, the lower left. .1233. 1285. Kind of going all over the place, huh? And went off. Oh, I couldn't track the bullet, that's all. .1248. Boy, some of these are shooting pretty nice. Oh, couldn't track that one. That's my 5. Dead bullseye. Beretta. .1206. We're clear. That's the bullseye used for the FN. I didn't do too well. The CZ didn't like those Lehighs, but it certainly looks like the Beretta loved those bullets. Okay, now we're going to shoot the Beretta 92 FS at the bullseye in the upper right, and now I'm using my Hornady XTPs. These are my current favorite bullets. Okay, we're clear once again. Let's go up and see how it did. Recall again, this is the Lehighs. You can almost see the shape of that bullet in there. Now the XTPs, and get a load of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Darn, that's all right. Beretta did a beautiful job. Now that went well. A couple of interesting things though that I'll make note of, and maybe you noticed also. Number one is that these Lehigh bullets can be pretty darn accurate. But there are some guns like the CZ that obviously did not like these Lehigh Extreme Penetrators. However, in case you're wondering, that CZ75 is a pretty darn accurate gun. I went through my records just a little bit ago and found some pretty good documentation where I was shooting the CZ75 with those same Hornady Xtp bullets, and it did a pretty nice job. This was at 25 yards. Similarly, the FN shot pretty darn well, again with those same Hornady Xtp bullets, and again at 25 yards. The velocities were also pretty interesting. The CZ might seem to have had the highest velocities across the board, but certainly it had the most variability, and in fact I commented on that while we were shooting. And it's possible that that variability lent to the kind of poor accuracy we were seeing. Now that's also very interesting because every one of these loads was loaded essentially the exact same way. The powder charge, the unique powder I was using, was weighed very precisely. There's no variation in that. So I don't think that the load itself was worse going through those CZs compared to what was going through the Berettas. But nonetheless, that CZ just, I think, did not like those solid copper Lehigh Extreme Penetrators, while the Beretta digested those without a problem. The third interesting point, again, relates back to the chronograph and those muzzle velocities, and the fact that I got no muzzle velocities recorded from that FN. And I think I know why. While I was watching the video myself and preparing it, I noticed that the position of that FN, its muzzle, was probably a little bit too far back behind that lab radar. And it should have been even with the lab radar. Now the fourth and final point of interest relates to the XTP, those Hornady Xtp bullets. You know, those are more or less your traditional jacketed hollow point bullet. They shoot so well in so many of the different guns that I own and have shot before. I'm really impressed with those bullets. What's next? Well, in our next episode, we're going to shift gears just a little bit. I'm going to set aside the 9mm Luger and go to the 45 ACP and start prepping this to load our next extreme bullet, the Federal Syntec. But we're not done with the 9mm, and we're not done with those Lehigh bullets. They're going to all come back later on in the season for some terminal ballistics testing in ballistic gelatin. Thanks a bunch for watching, and stay tuned for our next episode coming up in just a couple weeks.